Good morning, you're watching FloorDaily.net and I'm Kemp Harr. We're at Surfaces 2022 and I'm in the Engineered Floors Dreamweaver space and I'm with Joe Young. Joe, how you doing?
Doing well. A little too early to tell at this point, I guess.
Yeah, the door's just open, so I think the crowd is just starting to show up. So Joe, you're the Director of Residential Product Development, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I should fill in a little bit more. Obviously, Engineered Floors, most people know, Bob Shaw's company got started about 12 years ago, and they talk about the twins all the time. You, Joe, and Will are the twins, the Youngs, and you are the third generation in this business, right?
Third generation, and we've got a fourth generation that just showed up. Can't say they're working yet, or of working age anyway.
Well, actually they are. I see their photographs on the panel, so you're saving money on models by having your beautiful children on these big panels.
My son and my niece they made it here to Vegas with us, so everybody can see them up on the billboard.
Well, let me start out. How's business? I mean, I know we've had a couple of shows, and they've been lightly attended, but you were telling me the Dallas show, since you're so big in builder, was actually a really good show for you, right?
It's people are coming to buy, right? So we're not kicking tires and that sort of thing, and I think that's been kind of the theme throughout the pandemic. You may have less foot traffic, but those that are there, they're there to buy something. So we're cautiously optimistic. Obviously, to comp on some of the numbers that we put up last year, especially through the first three quarters, will be difficult. And so we're seeing a little bit more normal seasonality coming out of the gate. But just this past week, things have definitely picked up compared to the first 2 weeks of January.
All right. So I got a comment before we get into too many details. The products on these floor here are gorgeous. I mean, talking about what you started with 12 years ago and what you're doing now, I mean, these are multi-layered cut loop. It's beautiful yarn systems. This is what you're becoming known for now, right?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we want to use our solution dyed pure color yarn system, and we can use it from 16 ounces, sub category, all the way up into some fine products that we're putting into our DW Select collection through our Twist-X yarns. But everything at its core is still pure color, solution dyed PET. It's just how we're putting it together, different constructions, different tufting methods, like you mentioned with the MLCLs, in order to create more looks and really add multicolor no matter what the segment is, cut piles or patterns, all the way up the ladder.
All right. So tell us what you're most excited about and what you're telling people here as they come to this booth.
Well, I think people would, be most surprised by what they see on the floor. So DW Select really came out 2 years ago. I'd really only count last year as really being our first full year of it because of the issues with the pandemic and getting things out from a sample standpoint the first year. But we did almost $30 million in DW Select last year. This is polyester at prices that people probably didn't think people would buy at. But because we're able to do with Twist-X, the 3-ply yarn, that twist multiplier that it provides us, it's a construction that can be put up against any of the nylons, smart strands, and all of those great fibers that are out there. It's just we're being able to make polyester a little different. So in the DW Select collection, we have 3 of these MLCLs, multi-level cut loops, that really help us create a more dynamic multicolor. You can hide yarns, expose yarns in certain areas that create more contrast and make it more dynamic, and different pile heights. So you can actually control that and create more of that 3D type of a look that's become popular in textiles.
Well, as most companies are doing now, you're known for carpet. Now you've got beautiful carpet, but you also are getting in some other areas, and those two businesses are growing. Let's talk first about your waterproof laminate.
Sure. So, SPC obviously has been all the craze over the last couple of years. We've seen just a huge rise on the hard surface side of things. Laminate, like polyester in a way, got a bad name over the years. And I guess we're here to tell you with our Timber Step collection, specifically our water-resistant products with Aqua Edge is what we call how we're sealing that and provides for a waterproof installation. we've been able to add, or I'm sorry, really our suppliers, we're buying it from Kindle, have been able to make it differently and add value. We already know about its scratch characteristics. You know, when you get a piece of it, it's thick, it's heavy, it feels like wood, right? Because most of it's made out of wood. And so being able to add that water resistance to it, I think changes that category. And there, you know, there's some folks doing a really good job out there. Mohawk with their Revwood and things like that, made domestically, it's fantastic. And so they've really set the stage for that market, but we see it as a huge growth category. We've got an entry level 10 millimeter and a 14 product. Everything has an attached pad, very similar to what we're doing with SPC. It's something that people come accustomed to on the hard surface side. So some great visuals. Kindle's out of Austria, one of the largest laminate suppliers in the world. I've got the privilege of going over there in November right before they shut down. And the facilities, to say the least, I don't want to say I'm hard to impress on the manufacturing side, but I see some pretty great facilities on a day-to-day basis. And this was an incredible operation that we saw over there. So we're real excited about both Wood Tech, which is the 10 mil, and the 14 being Wood Lux, that are coming out on the water resistant side, and we think we can provide value there, right? Some people are you know, higher traffic areas need that scratch resistance that laminate provides, and really the visual that it provides is better than anything we've seen so far.
Well, there's really nothing more bulletproof than a melamine top, right?
That's right.
And then why not source it from where it came from? I mean, it
Sure.
started over there, right?
Sure.
So it makes sense for me. So let's talk about LVT. And before you get too much into the products, most everybody knows that you've announced that you're going to take that old Serentine plant that's been a warehouse, I think, for you guys for a little while. You got it as part of the Beaulieu acquisition, and you're going to convert that into a made in the USA LVT factory, right?
Yeah, with the Beaulieu asset purchase, we got a lot of buildings, a lot of space that we didn't have before, and so we're looking at the we are in the Serentine plant is where we'll be providing our first domestically made SPC. Everything that we're going to be doing is on the digital print side of things. So much like going from piece dyed or topically dyed carpets to solution dyed carpets, we felt like if we could provide something that's cutting edge at the same or a better price than where the films are being produced today and sold at today, then we can provide value there. So we'll have it going in 2 stages, a little bit later in the year this year, and then really becoming operational next year. So maybe surfaces next year, we'll be talking about that.
Well, let me point out on this digital investments you've made, this Hemming system out of Germany is state of the art, and I mean, you've stepped in with both feet because it's a major investment, and it's also going to allow you to have all kinds of flexibility, right?
Absolutely, and you know, engineered floors, obviously, we talk about DW Select and some of the growth or evolution as a company that we've had over time, but we know what we were made for, right? Shades of beige, that was always kind of their shtick, all the way up the ladder, very simple, stupid type of products, and I'm sure that's where we'll be starting on the SPC side, but from there we can really go anywhere we want with it.
So you're going to crawl before you run, and
right.
Everybody knows Mr. Shaw.
Yep.
He'd rather make it than buy it, right?
That's right. To say the least, hard surface has been an afterthought, and we've stumbled into quite a large business just importing it, but it becomes much more important as you're running those assets as opposed to just handing off something that came from overseas.
All right, Joe. So you thinking this year, this whole rest of the year is going to be strong? What's your guess on that?
We have some very difficult numbers to comp off of, I will say that. Yeah. But no, it's just a really movement in the business, right? Retail may not be quite as hot as it was a year ago with people sitting in their houses, figuring out what do they want to change since they're going to be spending so much time there. This year, we should see, we already are seeing a huge increase on the builder multifamily side because well, let's just say that apartment changeover is moving a little bit more now, and some regulations have been taken out on that side. So we really see it more as a shift in business. So it'll be different, but it should be a great year.
All right, Joe, great to spend time with you. Again, been talking to Joe Young, the Director of Residential Product Development here in the engineered floor Dreamweaver space, and you've been watching Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.